Mozambique heads to the polls today, marking the nation's 7th election since democratization. The Electoral Commission has reported a significant 20% increase in voter registration compared to the last election. We're now joined by Dr. Kaire Mbuende, a familiar face in our studio, to discuss the key factors at play in today's election. Very good afternoon to you, Doc, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, first and foremost, Dr. Mbuende, Frelimo has held power since Mozambique's independence in 1975. What do you think has enabled the party to remain dominant for so long, and how strong is its position in this election, given the fact that some analysts are saying, well, liberation movements only have a lifespan of less than 50 years?
Well, Frelimo has been able to stay in power because of its, I think, organizational ability. It has got very strong structure at the grassroots level in the rural areas, and it comes from the time during the struggle when they had what was known as the liberated areas, and they put up what was known as the people's government even before independence.
Yeah.
And therefore, these are very strong structures that the party is using even today in mobilizing, especially in the different rural areas.
Yeah. And do you think that they have been able to evolve with the times?
Yes, indeed. I think they have evolved with the time. There has been a change in generational leadership. The outgoing president, President Nyusi, is actually belong to a new generation. Absolutely. Because he's one of those, he was the first president of Mozambique who was not in exile. Mm-hmm. The previous one, of course, Samora Machel Chisanyo and Gibusa, they were all from the liberation struggle, yeah. From the old school, as it were. Mm-hmm. And so there have been a slow transition. And also, Mozambique has a different system compared to ours. For example, in terms of preparing for leadership, you don't have to be a member of parliament to be a minister, for example. Wow. And they have been able to groom people who are not necessarily strong in their party. Because the party has got very traditional, very conservative structures, and it's also very strong, actually, in directing the activities of the government. But there's a new generation of leaders who, are appointed as ministers and who have different kind of experiences. And therefore, there has been all these dynamics in the Mozambican political system.
Absolutely. Now, Daniel Chapo, the Frelimo candidate, is going head-to-head with Finacio Motlanthe, who left Renamo to run as an independent. Do you think Motlanthe poses a serious challenge to Chapo, or will we see Frelimo once again emerging victorious from these polls?
Well, two things. Chapo is a new generation. He's fairly young, 47 years old. Mm-hmm. Motlanthe, as an independent, he doesn't have the institutional capacity that you need to run a successful election campaign, especially in the rural areas. In the urban areas, yes, there are different kind of clubs and, which can be used as a base for mobilization, but he lacks the backing. Mm-hmm. He lacks institutional capacity, and he lacks also a royal or a loyal, a loyal backing constituency, as it were. Mm-hmm. And I think that he has absolutely no chance against a strong Frelimo candidate.
Talking about independent candidates, it's a phenomenon that we've seen now, showing up at various elections, across the region. Do you think that the electorate is ready to embrace the idea of voting someone who is not linked with the party, but standing up and saying, oh, look, this is what I have for you if you vote me into power?
Well, we're seeing it happening, but I think individuals can have brilliant ideas, but parties developed their visions over time, and it is embedded in society. So these individuals, may come, may run, and they would actually, they prey on the frustration of the people. You say you have people who are frustrated because of either unemployment and other challenges, notwithstanding government programs, and they felt that the government programs are slow to address their issues, and therefore opportunistically try to exploit those loopholes. But we haven't seen a successful independent candidate succeeding as yet.
We know we can't talk about Mozambique without talking about the current conflict in Cabo Delgado, the gas-rich nation, or rather the province of Mozambique. Will this conflict somehow sway the vote in the way the Frelimo-led government has been handling it?
Well, I think the election maybe is an opportunity to turn the armed conflict into a conflict over, or into a battle in the ballot box. And the fact that, where there is ongoing conflict, at least it has subsided to the point that it allows a free an election to take place in the country. So I think it's an encouragement for people to participate. If you have that kind of conflict, you have parties to both sides of the conflict with very strong views about what needs to happen in the country, and they have an opportunity to decide through the ballot box. I think we're going to have a high turnover, and people will enthusiastically participate in the election.
We know that historically Mozambique has one of the countries that have had one of the longest civil wars on the continent, but over the years, and even in this recent election campaigns, we've seen peaceful campaigns. Is it a sign of Mozambique's maturity as a democracy, or will we see a repeat of the members of Renamo, for example, once again going into the bush and taking up the gun?
Well, that has happened. You would participate in the election, and if you lose the election, then you go back into the bush and citing maybe claiming irregularities and that the election was rigged. But I think it is encouraging that despite the fact that there has been war and the tense atmosphere generally, that everybody sees election as a way forward.
All right. Dr. Mbuende, thank you so much for your analysis, and hopefully we will see a peaceful outcome in this polls.
No, definitely. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That was Dr. Kaire Mbuende giving us an analysis of the Mozambique polls that started off today, and once again reminding us that, look, peace is the only way, and hopefully the principles of democracy will prevail at the end of the day.